When you see the Riyadh Metro, you're looking at a stunning symbol of Saudi Arabia's future. It's all part of their ambitious Vision 2030. But a recent report from Amnesty International tells a completely different story, one about the thousands of migrant workers who actually built this massive project. So let's dig into what they discovered.
All right, so first, let's just appreciate what we're talking about here. This is a true architectural marvel, a project designed to literally transform the capital city. And the scale of this thing is just immense. We're talking 176 kilometers of track, 85 different stations. This isn't just adding a subway line, it's creating a brand new backbone for the entire city's public transport. It's a huge part of Saudi Arabia's push to get ready for massive global events like the 2034 World Cup. It really is a vision of the future, built for the whole world to see.
But behind these gleaming futuristic facades, there's another story unfolding. What's the real human cost of building a city of tomorrow? And that's the central question we really need to understand here.
The Amnesty report lays out these patterns of exploitation, and for most migrant workers, it started way before they even stepped foot in Saudi Arabia. It started with what's basically a crippling debt trap.
Now, on paper, Saudi law is crystal clear. Employers are supposed to pay all the recruitment fees. But this chart shows you the reality. Take Nepal, for example. The legal limit for a fee is just $71. The average fee a worker actually paid, $800. And look at India. Workers are paying over 10 times the legal limit. This isn't just a fee. It's a debt that ties them to their employer before they've even worked a single day. And these aren't just numbers on a page. This is the human cost. Suman's story from Nepal, it just shows you the incredible sacrifices these families make. He had to sell gold from his wife's parents, and even then, it took him a full 6 months of hard labor just to get back to zero. And his story, well, it's one of thousands.
So once they're on the job site, already in debt, the exploitation just takes on a new form. Dangerously harsh working conditions, starting with the absolutely brutal, relentless heat.
Now, Saudi Arabia does have a midday work ban during the hottest summer months, from noon to 3 p.m., but here's the massive flaw in that plan. The danger doesn't just magically switch off at 3:01 p.m. Temperatures often stay at life-threatening levels for hours after that, which makes the work incredibly dangerous. Just listen to Indra's words here. They're chilling. He says it feels like he's in hell. He talks about his vision getting blurry, his whole body drenched in sweat, and actually seeing his coworkers just collapse from the heat. That was the daily reality for so many people building this metro. And here's another huge piece of the puzzle: discriminatory pay. As you can see on this chart, a migrant worker on the project was typically earning less than 1,400 Saudi riyals a month. Now, compare that to what is effectively the minimum wage for a Saudi citizen, 4,000 riyals. It's a system that creates two completely different worlds for people doing the same kind of work.
So those incredibly low basic salaries, they backed workers into a corner. The only way they could earn enough money to send back to their families was to work tons of overtime, often more than 60 hours a week. That's way over the legal limit of 48 hours. For them, it wasn't really a choice, it was a necessity, all because of that discriminatory pay structure. So, you have to ask yourself, how does this kind of thing happen? Well, these abuses aren't just random incidents. They're made possible by a deeply rooted legal system that controls the lives of every single migrant worker in the country.
And the heart of that system is something called kafala, or the sponsorship system. Put simply, it means the worker's legal right to live and work in Saudi Arabia is tied directly to their employer. That creates this huge power imbalance right from the very beginning.
And the consequences are just devastating. Because your boss controls your legal status, you can't just quit and find a new job if you're being exploited. You often can't even leave the country without their permission. And what if you complain? Well, the employer can just file a report saying you've absconded, which can get you arrested and deported. It's a system that basically traps workers and silences them.
And if that wasn't complicated enough, you have these massive tangled subcontracting chains, like you see here. At the top, there's a main contractor. Then they hire subcontractors, who hire labor supply agencies. And with each layer you go down, accountability gets weaker and weaker. By the time you get to the worker at the very bottom of this pyramid, they're left completely vulnerable, often with no idea who's even really responsible for them.
Okay, so we've seen this as a systemic problem. What's the way out? Well, the Amnesty report gives some very clear recommendations for both the government and the companies that were involved. For the Saudi government, the asks are fundamental. Number one, dismantle the kafala system that allows so much of this abuse to happen. Next, they have to actually enforce the laws they already have, like the ban on recruitment fees.
The report also calls for a universal minimum wage that applies to everybody, not just citizens. And finally, they need to create much stronger laws to protect workers from life-threatening heat stress.
But it's not all on the government. The companies involved, the big international firms and the local ones, they have a massive role to play here. They're being urged to do their homework, to conduct real human rights due diligence all the way down their supply chains. That means taking direct control of recruitment to stop those illegal fees and, this is key, reimbursing the workers who were forced to pay them. The responsibility doesn't just stop at the top.
And here is why all of this matters so much right now. Saudi Arabia is getting ready to host huge global events like the 2034 FIFA World Cup. The eyes of the world are going to be on the country. The need to protect the rights of the millions of migrant workers who will build these new stadiums and cities has never, ever been more urgent.
So it leaves us with this one big, powerful question. As we look at these incredible, ambitious projects that are shaping our future, we really have to ask ourselves, who is paying the real price for all